Hi, this is Chuck Martin in Austin, Texas. I'm happy to say I've got with me here from Amazon, Arjama Kumar. Welcome.
Thank you, Chuck.
So you're a software development engineer. I want to talk about your world. What's happening in that world right now in terms of careers and development?
Yeah, so software development is a very exciting career, as we all know, and it is one of the highest paying jobs in the US. Definitely, there is a lot of advancements in the software development, especially in the respect of AI. So nowadays, like in the traditional software development, we used to develop softwares and write just the unit tests and put it to deployment. But nowadays, there is something more. We have some assisting tools which help us even write the software, which help us know even before we push the software to the production, that if that will give any error or it will cause any ticket for us or not. So that is something interesting that we are doing nowadays. And I'm sure that you have heard that like ChatGPT is very popular nowadays. I know again ChatGPT is not used by many businesses, but again like the same kind of model is being used in most of the major companies nowadays to assist programmers in even writing their code, writing more efficient code in a shorter amount of time.
So you worked at Intel, you work at Amazon. Can you work anywhere as a developer?
No, I worked in Amazon and Intel only.
But I mean, can you as a software development engineer, not you but anyone, can they just move around because it's essentially the same thing everywhere, or is it totally different?
Regarding Intel and Amazon, it's like different. So Intel is mostly like on the devices, the software development. So the application is different, but it's again around software development.
So does that mean it's a mobile workforce these days? Is that where with ChatGPT writing code, as you mentioned, it becomes is it making it easier for a developer?
Yeah, again ChatGPT is one example, and multiple companies might not use ChatGPT, but what I mean to say is that we can use the current LLM models to make the life of developers easier. So for example, in Amazon we have something called Code Whisperer, which is something we use, like that is open to the public as well, free to the public as well, and they can use for helping them write efficient code in a shorter amount of time. So for example, I need to invest some time in actually Googling if I don't know a particular language, but it can lay out the basics. Yeah, it's not always correct, maybe. We might need some human intervention to actually see that if it is correct and if it is actually fitting in that particular context. But of course, it can help with the basic stuff, and it can reduce time, the development time, and also the time to push it to production with minimizing errors.
So can you describe for us basically the development team activity when there's a team? I mean, people work in teams and meetings. How does it decide who does what?
Yeah. So in a development team specifically, like earlier it used to be a back-end engineer, so a back-end software developer used to do a back-end development, and then we come with front-end developers, and then there are people who are doing the UI stuff, and there are people who are doing DevOps. So again, it depends. So nowadays, most of the companies have a full-stack developer where they develop end-to-end. So I am not only a developer but also a designer, software designer. So I have also designed software architectures. So that is where it comes like a mix and match of various roles. So mostly nowadays there is a single person doing most of the things and then finally pushing it to production. But again, we are automating a lot of processes. So maybe the checks which we are doing, that if that product because the quality is something that is very important to the customers, to any customer. If it doesn't meet that particular quality, so when I tell of quality, so that is in two terms. One is like the user experience. But again, one of the things which I gave the speech on today, spoke on today, is cybersecurity. That is very important, that the platform should be secure enough for both the business as well as the customer. So both these quality checks are very essential. And that is something that is done in an automated way nowadays. And we don't write codes every time for it. We just write a code, we maintain a pipeline, we have continuous deployment. Inside that, we have all the checks already ready. And so that they can, it can automatically go through that and go through that checks, and the quality is maintained.
So in software development engineering, what determines someone's a star and someone's not a star? Or how does that I get identified that, hey, that person's really good, that person's not, it's just routine?
So yeah, I think software development is very similar to maths. So it's like if you have good problem solving skills, that determines that you are good or not. So ultimately, writing a piece of code, that's a part of syntax, I believe. So you can find syntax anywhere. On the Google also, you can find a syntax. Even when I talk of these LLM models, so these can help you in syntax. They can write you the basic structure, the bare bones. But the logic development, the design, how you do it, that is something, if you're a good problem solver, that determines it. So I feel that anybody who is a good problem solver, who can solve any kind of problems, he or she should be a good software developer.
So a year from now, we're having this conversation with software development. What would we be talking about?
Yeah, I believe with AI coming into software development nowadays, so I feel that in a year, so right now I think that people are not using AI because most of the people are not comfortable with AI nowadays. So they are still going with the traditional form. Even I can say even in places I have worked, there also I see most of the people are still comfortable with the traditional style of software development. But I think in a year from now, people will get slowly accustomed to the AI tools and start using it. So yeah, once they start using it, yeah, it might be beneficial. There might be two things. It might be positive. It might go negative again. So you never know that who likes it. But yeah, I think definitely people are going to embrace AI and use that in their software development as one of the best practices.
Well, I look forward to the conversation in a year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.